Hello, my name is Brandon. For my video presentation, I decided to pick Nick Cave. He was born in Fulton, Missouri in 1959. He is a dancer as well as an American fabric sculptor. I picked Nick Cave because he uses unique ways to get his messages out. The first piece of art I'm going to talk about is one of Nick Cave's sound suits. His first sound suit was created in 1991 that was made up of twigs, wire, and metal as a result of his feelings about racial profiling, about the Rodney King beating, and the riots that followed. After the Rodney King beatings, as a black man, Nick Cave felt discarded and worthless. He was sitting on a park bench in Grand Park, Chicago, and looked down at all the twigs. He felt the twigs were also seen as discarded and worthless. But he felt many of them together, they could have a powerful effect. He gathered them up, drilled a hole in each twig, and wired them into a wearable and movable frame. Wearing the sound suits, Nick Cave felt empowered because he could be completely anonymous. All aspects of how people judge each other is completely hidden. Their identity, race, gender, class, and looks. Nick Cave said about his sound suits they are, quote, full body suits constructed of materials that rattle with movement like a coat of armor. They embellish the body while protecting the wearer from the outside culture, end quote. For materials, Nick Cave uses various second-hand items often found either in nature or at flea markets and thrift shops. For almost all his art, his materials can include such things as twigs, baskets, buttons, feathers, plastic bags, fake fur, socks, mittens, and old toys. As you can see, Nick Cave's sound suits take on many shapes and forms, anything from horses to people to whatever this is. This piece, titled Speak Louder, is a collection of 7 sound suits, each meticulously covered in black mother-of-pearl buttons which are connected by a flowing piece of black fabric. Each figure looks in a separate direction, that is, if you can describe their bell-shaped heads as looking. As unique as each of Cave's creations are, the sound suits all contain a similar DNA as though they were distinct relatives who all arrived for a family reunion. Cave's mixed media creations feel alive as though they could break into a dance at any moment. And while some of the show's works are strictly for display, others are clearly meant to be worn. His largest exhibition of sound suits was in 2007 in Chicago and involved 3 dance companies, musicians, and over 120 actors in suits. His artwork has been exhibited at galleries all over the world. Here's a photo of his artwork at the Orlando Museum of Art in Orlando, Florida. While looking for controversy surrounding Nick Cave, I checked the New York Times, The Guardian, the LA Times, and Art in America. None of the critics had bad things to say about him, although I did find that he was outspoken on several topics and issues including gun violence and racial profiling in America. For over 150 years, the School of the Art Institute of Chicago has been a leader in educating influential artists, designers, and scholars. They are proud to call Nick Cave a member of their faculty and professor of fashion design. Here's a short video clip of Nick Cave speaking at the Smithsonian Art Museum and talking a little bit about the sound suits that he made. Watch closely as he shows the sound suit and notice that it is made up of what looks like old tablecloths, pot holders, doilies, and anything else he could get his. When he was younger, he had many brothers and sisters and often wore hand-me-down clothes. He used to modify these clothes to make them his own, and that's where he got his talents that he uses today to create his art.
Hi, I'm Nick Cave, visual artist, here speaking at the Smithsonian American Art Museum. The first sound suit came about in '92, and it was in response to the Rodney King incident. And it was a really, really difficult time for me. I was really, as a young black male, I was just really questioning everything. And so, feeling sort of dismissed, discarded, viewed less than, and I was just trying to process that. And, what does that mean? How does that sort of relate to who I am and what it is that I'm trying to do? And
It wasn't for your typical show on the streets of Dallas. The horses that are actually students from University of North Texas. The creations of Chicago artist Nick Cave, he calls them sound suits for obvious reasons, which reflect art, dance, and fashion. Here's another example. Were you as surprised as I was to see the two sound suits separate at the end of that clip? At first, I thought it was one suit, but then at the very end it separated and I found out it was two actors. When he is not creating sound suits, Nick Cave is creating other types of installation art. In his artwork piece entitled If a Tree Falls, he uses a piece of furniture covered with various wooden heads and an eagle swooping down. It is made from an American Federal-style table. This piece of furniture of this style was used in the colonial days in America when there was still slavery. The eagle is symbolic of the United States politics and history, swooping down and attacking the small African heads carved from wood of all different colors and facial expressions. The painting called Seasick is a installation piece that is 3 rows of sailboat paintings. Each one is a painting of a ship that is in rough water on the horizon. In his artwork titled Seasick, Nick Cave uses a sculpture he found at a flea market that happened to be on a shelf labeled Spittoon. And disbelief, he incorporated this blackhead sculpture into a painting of a large tobacco slave ship. He uses these obscene images of black faces, white eyes, and red lips to change a racist object into an educational message. All in all, Chicago's artist, Nick Cave, can get his messages out by doing multiple things such as creating sound suits and making tables into art that says a message. He will always have a spot in art history.